Absolute devastation. That's how people are describing the town of Mayfield, Kentucky. The area took a direct hit late Friday night from a tornado. Now the storm leveled homes, businesses, and a candle factory with workers inside. The search for survivors there continues. And Fox 17 News is Kylie Walker talking to those who rode out that storm.
An unrecognizable scene as this community was in the direct path of a deadly tornado that hit less than 40 hours ago. Now, as you can see, the wreckage is now reduced to near nothing.
That was the living room, and over here was the bedroom.
Johnny Hernandez showing Fox 17 what's left of the property that he just recently purchased.
And unfortunately, the tornado took it away.
Hernandez now returning to the site, combing through the debris and hoping to find items to give back to his tenants that just moved in on Monday. Hernandez says they were home at the time of the disaster.
I couldn't get a hold of the tenants, and so me and my stepfather and my brother came out here, looking everywhere for them, yelling their names out to make sure they were okay.
Hernandez telling me the family of 4 made it out alive and suffering only minor injuries, as they were able to climb into this crawl space under the home until the storm passed.
He got his 2 kids and his wife safe under the crawl space, and then I think the tornado took him like a trash bag and slung him around, but luckily he's okay.
And just down the road, another family seeking shelter in that moment, with Anthony Vasquez telling me he held his 4-month-old baby all next to his girlfriend in the closet.
I was just thinking, please, Lord, don't rip him out of my hands, or if he goes, I'm going with him, definitely was not going to let him go at all.
Vasquez says those 2 to 3 minutes in the closet felt like a lifetime, but their home was destroyed in the matter of seconds. It
actually started doing a lot of damage. It really did. High winds and just sounds that I've never even heard before, for real, It's pretty crazy.
Now, Governor Beshear says that crews will be out in the hard-hit areas for days, weeks, or even months to come, and they're not going to stop until that recovery is complete.
By the grace of God, I feel like I'm standing here, because this is a big deal to me.
Sherry McClurkin lives in White Bluff, just down the road from Kingston Springs. Her and her grandson, McCanan, woke up in the early hours of Saturday morning to a tornado ripping through their neighborhood.
I was throwing pillows in the hallway to him to cover him up, to make sure he was okay. I never got to hunker down at all, because it was already gone. It was like 5 seconds.
Sherry's home saw major devastation, with parts of her ceiling falling down, roof and water damage. When she stepped outside, she realized she was in a world of hurt.
When I felt like it was safe to open the door, I was like, my porch posts were gone. I looked up and I didn't have a roof or anything. I was like, I just kind of panicked. I was like, oh my God, what did we just go through?
Aside from her missing front porch, trees are now displaced across the entire yard.
That was the shed, and what you see on top of it is limbs from my tree.
Unfortunately, the destruction does not end here. Down the road in Kingston Springs, an entire block is in pieces, with electrical lines scattered everywhere and buildings like this one unrecognizable. Fox 17 spoke with the Cheatham County Sheriff's Department today, who says they are not aware of any deaths from the tornado. For people like Sherry, whose house was just feet from being hit by massive trees, being alive is a gift.
You can see how close it come to my house, so I feel like we're very lucky.
You can see houses just destroyed and rubble in this community, but they're all coming together in the midst of tragedy, trying to pick up the pieces. As the sun sets in Dawson Springs, a community that's lost so much, but reminded of what's still there.
And it came, and it just, in a matter of 2 minutes, it just blew everything up.
Gary Morgan and his wife lived in their home for 62 years before it got destroyed.
I just told her it was going to be all right, we'd make it all right.
They both survived, but call it a miracle.
Then we couldn't get out. We were trapped, and it's raining, it's cold, and I was worried about that. But I had a light with me, so I flashed the light, and somebody saw the light and came over. 2 nice young men. And one of them took their coat off and gave it to my wife. And they said they'd come back. About 2 hours later, they came back with help and a 4-wheeler.
While trying to salvage what's left of his home, Gary recovered a photo with his wife, something he'll treasure.
And you realize how important family is when something like this happens.
Just down the road, Alexis Wales and Erica Stipe weren't sure if their sister had survived.
And she came home and sheltered in the laundry room right behind the washer and dryer on a wooden chair. It felt like that's where she would have to be, and that's the only place in the house that didn't collapse.
The sisters reunited, and as darkness approaches, they're trying to recover what they can from the rubble.
Well, you can replace a house, you can replace furniture, you can replace clothes, but you cannot replace memories and pictures, and she's alive, and I am so grateful.
The governor believes this will be the deadliest tornado to ever run through Kentucky.
I'm near 15th and Magnolia Street, where some of the worst damage is. You can see behind me here, this power pole is on its side and blocking the road, but cars continue to go by. First responders are begging people to please avoid areas like this one so they don't hinder any search and rescue efforts or cleanup. Buildings brought to rubble, debris tangled in treetops. This Bowling Green neighborhood is a skeleton of what it was just days ago.
You know, we've never dealt with anything like this in our lifetime.
The damage unbelievable for Marty and Laura Eubanks. They own this martial arts studio, a fixture in the community for 40 years, now in pieces, blown away by Mother Nature.
It's devastating. You know, we know a lot of people here. We've grown up here, so to know to see our community broken like this has been overwhelming.
And just blocks away, these friends are trying to salvage what they can from their business. A1 Smoke Shop opened its doors less than 2 weeks before the storm ripped it to shreds.
It had been roughly less than 10 days. Yeah, it took us a while, to prepare everything, stock all the inventory, and it's all gone.
Gone, along with hundreds of homes and businesses. City leaders say at least a dozen people lost their lives in this storm. They're still visiting homes for search and rescue and trying to figure out just how big the damage toll is. But despite the devastation, neighbors tell me they're resilient. They plan to rebuild and grow stronger together.
That's community, that's Bowling Green, and that's Kentucky.
The Red Cross has set up a shelter at Jennings Creek Elementary for displaced families. They're asking for monetary donations to help those families who have lost everything. Reporting in Bowling Green, Kentucky, I'm Jackie Del Pilar with Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.